So this is part 2 of your Chapter 8 oscilloscope exercise. Here we're going to take a floating point measurement. First thing we need to do is set our channel. We'll hook up channel 1 with, move the camera. We'll hook up channel 1 directly across our 2 resistors, because we are going to set our voltage peak to peak to 1 volt and our frequency to 10 hertz. Next, we will adjust those. So let's look at our other camera view. So first thing we want to do is just hook up 1 probe. We'll have to hit our measure button and we'll hit display all, and that will show us our voltage peak to peak. I've already set mine. Make sure your amplitude is set correctly so it is center. We'll see that voltage peak to peak is about 1 volt, and that our hertz frequency is set to 10 kilohertz. So once we have that done, we're going to do a floating point measurement. And why you want to do a floating point measurement is, say you want to measure phase to phase in a 3-phase circuit. Well, this ground probe is tied to chassis ground, so if you were to measure phase to phase, you would actually take one of your phases to ground, which would be a short, so that would not be something we'd want to do. So we're going to do a floating point measurement, and you first should calculate the voltage drop across the resistors. So you should come up with a computed value across R1 of about 2.28 volts. And then across R2, you just subtract that from 1 volt peak to peak, you'll get about 0.716 volts. Next, we want to hook up our probes. And to do that, first of all, I'm going to remove my ground probe. Simply pops out here, right here. We're going to pop that out. And so this is our trigger X. And I'm going to hook that up here on one side of my resistor. This being the 2.7 and this being the 6.8 resistor. Next, I will hook across this resistor, our 6.8 kilo ohm resistor. Sure we're not pull the wire loose here. We'll get that back in there, and we'll hook across here like so. Now we're going to turn off our display, our measure, and what we want to do here is do a subtraction of channel 1 minus channel Y. So to do that, we can hit our math function, and I will hit my operate mode, and I can select here which one I want. So make sure that we're going to do A minus B. They do have an invert function if you need it, but we could just do A minus B without doing that. And so now we're going to do A minus B. And so now we're going to turn the display off. Now I only want to show the math function. The math function is the result of the channel 1 minus the channel 2. So I'm going to turn off channel 1. See if we can get it off. There we go. And in this time frame here, we're going to zoom in a little bit. So now that we have our time frame set up, we're going to measure our voltage across. It's A minus B. And we have our scale set for 200 millivolts. So each designator is 200 millivolts across here. Let's go hit auto here. And then we'll do math. Turn off this one. We'll change our divisor here to 100 millivolts. Make sure that we are on channel 1 here. And what we'll see here is the result of our division of subtraction of the voltage across R1 here. And so we can count our divisors, and we should be able to count up each divisor and see approximately the voltage across R1 if we're doing peak to peak. And here we have this. And so you should be able to count your divisors and come up with the same as the computed value.